Welcome, welcome, welcome to the new season of the Garage Fantasy Football League 2015. Just wanted to do this video for you guys to give you the new rules, regulations, what's new, and all that with the league this year. It was first I'd like to say congratulations to the Seed of Hitman for winning last year. They took us out, thanks to Brady and a couple more people that didn't show up week 15. But hey, week 16, what you gonna do? I mean, hey, we got there. At least we was there. We was the only one representing from the real garage. But congrats to C. But one of the major that leads me into one of the major issues with last year was the payment. Some of us paid, some of us didn't. But that's the whole point, is to create some type of competitiveness, with the league. So one way to do that is cash. Everybody like cash, So this year we're gonna try to make it as guaranteed a payout as we can. And besides your word, the way I'm gonna do that is going through DraftKings, which we can use as our payment hub for the league. So you're going to get a second invite in your emails to join DraftKings, and from there you'll see the payout schedule, and you could pay online with your credit card, and that money will be deposited if you win to your credit card. So we're going to do that through DraftKings. Look for a later email explaining that. Once we get going, but we don't want to let that go too long, because the official deadline for payment is October 15th. That's the latest. Of course, I'm gonna hound you and encourage you to pay sooner, but that's the main thing. We want to, if you participate, we want to make sure you get paid or have some type of, reassurance that you are going to get paid. So once again, the top three people will receive prizes, and then we also have some spliff prizes for best record, most points scored, highest margin of victory, things like that. We'll finalize that once we know the final team count, but right now that's how we're going to do it. Another big change from last year is the roster. A lot of people last year took advantage or used it as a strategy to play a top-tier quarterback as your offensive player. To make it a little bit harder, we're going to require 2 quarterbacks this year. So here's your roster breakdown. 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex positions, and that's going to do it for your offense. And then on defense, you're going to have 2 defensive players. That's lineman, linebacker, receiver, whoever. But you'll have to start 2 defensive players, a defense, and a kicker. So that's your defensive lineup. Now your bench is a little bit slimmer this year. This year you're only going to have 4 bench positions and 1 injured reserve. The reason for this, my process behind this is, I want to see more movement of players, more communication, stuff like that. So that's one of the major changes is with the roster lineup. So once again, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 2 defensive players, 1 defense, and 1 kicker. That's going to break down your team. That's 11 men, if I'm not mistaken. Another change that we have going on is in the rules as far as scoring. Last year, the way it worked for receivers and running backs and offensive players pretty much, except for the quarterback, was for every 10 yards, you got a point. So if you got 7 yards, you didn't get a point until you got those 3 yards to make it 10. So basically, you got a point for every 10 yards. The way I'm going to do it this year is you're going to get 0.1 points for every yard. So that's going to reward you or give you points for every yard that your player gets. So if he gets 7 yards, he gets .7 instead of nothing. So, hey, it's better than nothing is the way I look at it. Another rule change would be in the defensive linemen. Last year they only got 1 point for a sack, so that virtually made the defensive lineman, unpickable. Unless you had J.J. Watt, wasn't really a reason to have a defensive lineman. So now he's gonna get 2 points for that sack instead of 1, and I think that's gonna make a big difference as far as the amount of linemen that we see on rosters. So that's pretty much the changes with the scoring. Now we're gonna go to the changes with the roster. Not the roster, but with the schedule. Last week, I don't know. I think it was 12. I'm not sure, but this year you're gonna have 13 regular season matchups and 4 playoff weeks. So that's gonna use all 17 weeks. They're gonna be right now we have 15 people in the league. That's up 3 people, I believe, from last year's 12. So out of those 15, 11 are going to be playoff teams. So the top 11 teams, with the top teams with the 11 best records, basically. And from those 11, the first round, you're going to get 5 byes. So, that's going to be your 2 division winners, your East Coast Riders. Your West Coast Riders. And your East Coast somethings. So East Coast, West Coast. That's how we're doing it. East Coast, West Coast beef in the garage. But it's going to be 11 playoff team, 5 byes. So, those teams that went out with last year had top records but went out in the first round, hey, maybe you can get a bye this year and make it to that second round. Something you didn't do last year. So those are the major changes for the draft. The draft is scheduled for tonight. I meant to do this video a long time ago, but the draft is tonight at 7:30. If you have any problems with that, if you cannot be there, you don't have to be here. You can do it online on your phone. If you're gonna do it on your phone, you have to download the app. Go to the app store or whatever, and download the ESPN Fantasy Football app. So you have to download the app in order to do the draft online on your phone, or you can do it on your computer or at home, or you can come here. I don't have that many computers anymore. I think about 2 or 3, and I think those might be claimed. Yeah, I think those are probably claimed. But you can bring your computer, have Wi-Fi, or you can bring your phone or whatever. We're going to have drink, and the usual and all that stuff. But if you are going to do it, it's at 7. You have to download. If you're going to do it on your phone, you have to download the app or do it online. The War Room opens at 6:30. So the draft order will be set an hour before the draft. So that's at 6:30 when the War Room opens. I have no control over who gets the first pick. It's all random. And it's going to be a snake draft. So that's from the bottom to the top. Top to the bottom, bottom to the top. So that's how we're gonna do it. So let's have a good season this year, fellas. I will see whoever in the championship. Peace.